Hi, my name is Jemimah Amos. I'm a sociologist. I teach social theory, I teach English, and I also teach essay writing. I actually started tutoring from my undergraduate days, and it was very informal. And what it looked like was myself and a few classmates, typically the night before exams, and I would go over the most likely questions that we were expecting to come out in our exams, and I would just explain concepts to my classmates. I would break them down into really simple ideas that they could understand. And I think at the end of every exam, there would be a few people who would come up to me and say that they were thankful for the way that I explained it. So that's kind of how I really began tutoring and just explain to my classmates. And then, of course, from there, when I became a graduate student, I was a graduate assistant. And then I had a more formal capacity and a formal office to teach my undergraduate students. I enjoy social theories. And so one of the things I try to do is to break them down and to make them as relatable as possible to everyday occurrences. Sometimes people would say to me that theories are abstract, but I don't think they are. I think that theories are things that happen in our everyday life. And so it becomes my job to make those connections between what seems abstract to what is actually just your everyday life, but you probably aren't able to make that connection. So that's what I really enjoy about tutoring or teaching. And that's kind of my approach, making really complex ideas or complex theories or complex concepts as simple as can be. I really enjoy the opportunity to shape young minds. I find that I think that there are people that are very much still interested in learning and maybe just need the tools or need someone who will take that extra time outside of a classroom to point things out, to explain things in a way that makes sense to them. I also I don't use a one size fits all approach. So I like to get to know my individual students and to figure out what works for them. So I take a very collaborative approach. Students have diverse needs. So being able to figure out what works for each individual student, I think also really helps. And I like being a part of that journey. And at the end of the term, I like when my students succeed and I like seeing the joy on their faces or even just a thank you at the end of the term because they have achieved their goals. And that makes me very happy because I like seeing young people that are still interested in learning, that are still interested in knowledge, and that are still interested in furthering their education or bettering their lives.